Good day, everybody. Okay, so Racer Jim 2026. Gonna try some cooking. Not racing today, at least right at the moment. First time ever trying lasagna, and I've seen some people make it. Kind of know how it's made, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it my own spin here and see how we do. So let's get going. I did some prep work. You know, I always try to keep the videos fairly short if I can. All right, so I got a pound of ground beef. I normally would do that, brown it in the pan. Normally would do that with onions, but my kids may be coming over later, adult kids, but they still don't like onions. Let's see, then put some seasoning in it, and then added the jar of sauce. Where'd that jar go? Here it goes. Added the jar of sauce, and added it with the meat. Okay, and some lasagna noodles, regular flat lasagna noodles. They didn't fit in my pan, so I broke them in half. I didn't use the whole box, so I wasn't sure how much I wanted to make. And then got some ricotta cheese and some provolone and mozzarella blend. And mix all that together over here. And I threw in a little bit of this extra Monterey Colby, just for my touch, really. All right, so we mixed all that up. Got it right here. So got the pan set out. And going to put a little sauce right in the bottom. And then they say to, drain the noodles and then set them out so they don't stick together. And I learned first time, like I said, cooking the noodles. I put them in the water and probably should have separated them before I did that, but a couple of them came stuck together, but we got it all worked out. All right, we're gonna lay the noodles in the pan. A layer of noodles. All right, that's a layer of noodles. Put some cheese. I have not followed a recipe. I'm just kind of imagining how it's done. So let's see how it turns out. I guess I should have had that turned over, but where you can see what I'm doing here. Let's see, I don't want to knock anything around. There we go. And then a layer of meat sauce. All right. A little bit more. There we go. All right, meat sauce. Now one more layer of noodles. Okay, I think this is going together like it's supposed to. Alright. Another layer of cheese. Cheese mix, if you will. Okay. I think I'm going to use the rest of that. Just use the rest of the cheese mix here. And normally you would have some rock and roll playing while I'm cooking, but I didn't want to mix up any, sometimes they get, you know, I forget what they call it. They don't have the rights or whatever, so didn't want to run into any problem like that. All right, so the next layer of meat sauce. Like I said, I kind of didn't want to make a huge batch, but as you can see, it's a good size. Or else I would have probably used a little more. Meat sauce. As far as the noodles go, you know, I was putting them in the water, boiling the noodles. I put a little olive oil to keep them from sticking together as well. They say you can add some salt. I didn't add salt to that. And you can kind of, you know, see them change to where they're kind of pliable. You know, it took about 30 minutes. On the stovetop, not at a regular boil, not a full boil. Okay, so one more layer. And like I said, I added the seasonings to the meat. I think the sauce probably had already some seasonings to it. But I added a little garlic powder, just a dash of Tony's Satcheries, because I like to do that on most of the stuff I cook. That's another thing my kids probably wouldn't be behind, but I just use just enough. All right, okay, I think we're about done here. Oven. I'm going to put the oven at 350. Everything's cooked already, so basically you're just melting the cheese and melting everything together, so to speak. So, yeah, let's do that. Should have preheated it, but you know, you get distracted. All right. Yep, we're going 350. We'll put the cheese on, and then we'll probably do it about 30 minutes, something like that. We'll kind of watch it. I'm not going to make you sit through 30 minutes of it. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more seasoning right under the cheese. A little garlic powder. Instead of pepper, I use this special Howling Dog. I don't think they make it anymore. It's kind of like a pepper blend. Touch of Tony's. All right, let's put some cheese in there. Melt it down. Make it nice and cheesy. Use the other cheese. change things up a little bit. All right. I think we're about there. All right. That's about it. Let's get her in the oven. Like I said, 350 for, I'm thinking 20 to 30 minutes. Probably 30 if you want the cheese to get a little crunchy on top. Just a suggestion. Like I said, this is the first time for me I've done this, so hopefully it's going to turn out good. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes and wait and see how it turns out, and I'm still not great at editing yet, so I'll figure that out eventually. But anyway, that's about all's involved. I mean, like I said, you brown the meat up, mix in the sauce, boil your noodles, and put a little olive oil in the noodles to keep them from sticking, and then you set them out like I showed you, and then just layer the stuff in. Oh, and the cheese. You gotta. A lot of people like the ricotta cheese. That's why I use that. But I mean, you can vary your cheeses if you want. You know, it's kind of your own decision. This is definitely not traditional. This is a Racer Jim special. Anyway, all right, you guys. You have a good one. We'll see you on the next time around.